Time now for business. Kate Moody, our business editor, is here. Hi there, Kate.
Hi, Tom.
Let us begin with what is a high-stakes vote for people employed by Amazon in the United States.
Nearly 6,000 employees at a warehouse in Alabama have been voting on whether or not to form a union. After a 5-month-long campaign, Monday is the last day of voting. Results are expected in the next week or so. While some Amazon employees are already members of unions and indeed called strikes over working conditions during the pandemic, this would be the first Amazon site in the U.S. to be fully unionized. Around 10% of the U.S. workforce is part of a labor union, down from 20% in the 1980s. And the groups no longer have the same leverage in American politics and business that they once held, nor as much as their counterparts in Europe. Well, Amazon has resisted previous attempts to unionize and argues it already pays warehouse staff twice the U.S. minimum wage. With 800,000 employees, Amazon is the second largest employer in the U.S. private sector, and the stakes here are high. Shipping traffic has resumed in the Suez Canal after salvage teams managed to free a large container ship which had blocked the waterway for nearly a week. Egypt's President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi had been tweeting his congratulations for the workers who ended the crisis, saying the whole world could now be reassured that goods would once again be able to pass through the canal. More than 10% of global trade passes through the nearly 200-kilometre-long canal. It is a crucial source of income for Egypt's economy. Last year, despite a drop in global trade due to the pandemic, nearly 19,000 ships passed through, bringing in a total of $5.6 billion in tolls. Data suggests that Egypt has already lost over $95 million in toll fees in the past week. Well, the unblocking of the Suez Canal saw oil prices drop earlier on. They've recovered slightly, still a bit volatile after a difficult week there because of worries about a possible impact on supplies of crude oil. You can see the price of international Brent crude has recovered now slightly. It's trading at about $64.86 per barrel there. US WTI also up about 1%. A mostly higher close for the major European indices saw just the FTSE 100 in the red in London. Shares of Credit Suisse plunged nearly 14% after it warned of a highly significant hit to its first quarter results linked to a U.S. hedge fund defaulting on a margin call. Well, that's been adding pressure on Wall Street as well. Stocks paring back some of their earlier gains to trade near the flat line this hour. It's understood that other banks are likely to have been impacted by the show of weakness by this hedge fund. It's all thought to center around Archegos Capital Management, which was forced to liquidate some of its assets last week. Well, Boeing shares have risen over 3% on news that Southwest Airlines had added 100 orders for its 737 MAX plane. It's a vote of confidence in the manufacturer and its beleaguered model, which was grounded around the world for 20 months after 2 deadly crashes that killed 346 people. Southwest said the order reflected its optimism in the medium-term future of the industry and underscored advantages of the revamped plane, which include quieter engines and better fuel efficiency. Ryanair and United Airlines have also ordered more MAX planes since the safety crisis, a sign that carriers are confident in the model's recent return to service. Members of the public, however, are more wary, and families of the victims continue to fight legal battles over the crashes and what they believe was lax oversight. The French government is considering still tougher restrictions to slow the spread of COVID-19, but with much of the country, including Paris, already under a third lockdown, there's growing confusion and anger about which stores are allowed to continue operating. Ellen Gainsford has the story.
This toy shop has to close, but this video game store is allowed to stay open. Critics say there's no rhyme nor reason to the French government's latest lockdown rules.
On aurait le droit d'aller chez le coiffeur, acheter des fleurs, aller acheter des jeux vidéo et pourquoi pas juste des jouets, un petit cadeau pour l'anniversaire de son enfant, de son petit enfant. C'est frustrant.
Many customers are also confused.
Pas logique que des jeux vidéo soient ouverts et que des magasins de jouets soient fermés, non? C'est clair que là, je vois pas où est la logique.
Des jeux éducatifs pour les enfants, ça devrait être essentiel puisque les enfants, quand vous les avez à la maison, il faut pouvoir les occuper.
Video game shops are allowed to stay open as they're considered part of the technology sector, along with bookshops, record stores, plant shops and DIY stores, among others. While children's outfits can be sold in supermarkets, down the street, this clothes shop for kids has to close. Click and collect shopping isn't attracting as many customers.
C'est à peu près 10% dans le meilleur des cas. on demande la réouverture de nos magasins destinés à l'univers de l'enfant. Nous le ferons avec la plus grande précaution. Nous le ferons, si nous pouvons le faire, dans un premier temps dans les centres-villes.
But the French economy minister has said he won't budge on the measures.
Dans la liste des commerces fermés ou autorisés à ouvrir ne changera pas.
Around 90,000 French businesses must close for at least the next 3 weeks. And the government may have still stricter restrictions up its sleeve.
And it's certainly a question a lot of people have been asking as they walk around Paris. Why can one place be open when another can't?
Yeah, quite a mysterious business trying to decipher all of that. Thank you very much indeed, our business editor, Kate Moody.